What's good? You're 4-3 here back in the day, and today, guys, I want to talk to you about some of the brand new and exclusive cars coming to Forza Horizon 4 this next month. In fact, many of these are going to be coming into the game just this Thursday when the new Series 6 update finally drops for Forza Horizon 4. We're going to be experiencing a whole new year of Forza Horizon, which of course means all the seasons are going to change, and of course with a brand new season means a brand new set of Forza Shop rewards, seasonal championships, and car pass cars, which is actually where I want to go ahead and start things off this week, is with the car pass, because we have some unfortunate news with this, and that is that we have finally reached the end of the car pass. Yes, I know we have finally reached the end. It doesn't seem like it's been long enough, but it's been 21 weeks with 2 cars each and every single week for a grand total of 42 brand new cars brought into Forza Horizon 4. It's kind of hard to believe, but it is very, very true. But Forza says, do not worry, do not fret, everything will be okay, because there are still more brand new cars coming to Forza Horizon 4. Now, these are, of course, going to be either via seasonal championships, some Forza Shop rewards, some free DLC card packs, but as well, Forza has said that there is a possibility that we will see paid DLC as time progresses. Now, this isn't necessarily unexpected because a lot of past Forza games have had some kind of paid DLC afterwards. The only one that I've really ever noticed not have paid DLC was Forza Motorsport 7, where basically the game was so poorly received that I feel like they had to give it out. I feel like they couldn't, just be like, well, we're going to charge people for a car pack. Then they wouldn't sell any. They wouldn't sell enough to make it worthwhile, so they just sort of gave them away for free. Hats off to you, Forza. I actually really appreciate that. It's kept me playing Motorsport 7, and they could have honestly, just left Motorsport 7 the way it was, not fixed any of the issues, but they have put a lot of time and effort in, and that game is actually really, really good now. But some of you might be asking, but Grr, what cars are we actually going to be getting in the car pass this month? Well, let me go ahead and answer that question for you right now. Starting things off, we are going to be receiving the brand new TVR Griffith here in Forza Horizon 4. Now, we have actually seen this car over in the Crew 2 via one of their DLCs, and actually made a video on the car over there. If you guys want to go ahead and check it out, link will be down in the description below. But as well, honestly, the TVR Griffith, in my opinion, looks absolutely phenomenal. The name, on the other hand, I'm not necessarily too keen on. Now, Griffith has been a name that TVR has used for many, many generations of cars. The thing is, though, is when I think of Griffith, I don't think of a quick 2-door rear-wheel drive sports car. I normally think of an asshole I used to go to church with. That was the kid's name. He was an asshole. I'll just go ahead and say it. But the thing is, though, with the TVR Griffith, they kind of stole their design language from, oh man, what was that car again? I just can't seem to think of it. It's really, really famous, man. It's right on the tip of my tongue, but I cannot think of it whatsoever. This is going to eat me up inside. I'm just going to be scratching my head all day. You guys know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Toyota Supra, of course. This thing has so many different design cues from the new Supra. It is absolutely ridiculous. The roof, the rear end, basically, if you're just looking at this car from the rear and you've maybe seen some spy shots of the new Supra, you might actually say, oh, they changed the rear end just a little bit on the actual production model. It's just, that's how this car looks. It looks so similar to the new Supra. The front end looks completely different, I'll give you that. But the rest of the car, it reminds me so much of the new Supra. It's absolutely ridiculous. So the next car that we received via this car pack is a little bit more interesting. It's actually the Cadillac Eldorado, which is a big, big boy, if I do say so myself. This thing is like 17 feet long. It is absolutely massive. It is the definition of a land yacht. I bet you if you go and Google land yacht, this is what shows up. You will see a Cadillac Eldorado. But of course, because this is such a big car, you know what we got to do with this. We are going to drift the crap out of it. We've drifted the limo, we drifted the Quartz Regalia back in Forza Horizon 3, so now we have got to drift this big boy. It is going to be a lot of fun making a nice little drift tune for it. Now the Quartz Regalia is also coming back, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. But those are the 2 brand new cars coming to Car Pass and those are the last 2 cars coming to Car Pass. So as well this series, Forza has decided to implement a brand new seasonal trial. This time it is Seasonal Playground Games, which is going to be a team-based version of Playground Games. We're going to be going up against other teams in, I can't remember their names, what is it, Infection, King, and Flag Rush, or the normal versions. I'm not sure what they call them for the multiplayer, because normally I always want to do the free-for-all versions myself, but these are going to be the team-based versions, so we will see how this works out. I absolutely love Playground Games, so I think this is going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be very interesting. But what we do know is that there's also going to be rewards, of course, associated with this, and we do know of 3 out of the 4 rewards that will be available, or maybe there's just 3 rewards. I don't know which way it's going to be, but let's go ahead and get on into it. So first up what we have is the 2014 Volkswagen GRC Beetle. This is the one that has Tanner Faust on the side and is not the Andrade Beetle that you can already buy in the auto show. This is a Wheelspin exclusive, but it'll be made available via the Seasonal Playground Games. So if you don't already have this card, then it'll be the chance to go ahead and pick it up. After that, we have the Lotus 211, another Wheelspin exclusive car. This car is absolutely phenomenal. It is not very powerful, but it is extremely light. 252 brake horsepower, weighing in at 3/4 of a ton, makes this thing an absolute beast. I absolutely love this car. I really, really do. It's going to be a lot of fun to drive around. I don't yet have it here in Horizon 4, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. Then finally we have a car that I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be excited about, because this has become one of the rarest and most sought after cars in Forza Horizon 4, and that is the Hot Wheels Boneshaker, which honestly is a little bit unfair. It's unfair of a car how good this thing is, because whenever you go online and do some A-class racing, the Boneshaker is what everybody uses if they have it. I mean, it is crazy quick. A lot of people love using this car. Even people have been asking to nerf this vehicle. It's that good. It is that good, because if you don't have a Boneshaker, a lot of people have said you cannot compete. You cannot compete. It's like an A-class going up against an S1. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So on top of that, we also will be seeing our regular seasonal championships, and there are going to be rewards specifically associated with those that are separate from our seasonal playground games. And we actually know what the rewards are going to be for each and every single season. So starting things off in summer, we're going to be having the new seasonal street races. And in summer, we're going to see the TVR Tuscan. This is another old TVR, although not really old, it's kind of just before they went out and went under again. You know, in my opinion, it looks very, very similar to the Cigaris. You know, it has that same kind of design language going on with it, but this will be a new car that will be available during the summer season. Coming up in autumn, we will be seeing a JDM fan favorite, being the Nissan 300ZX. Honestly, an absolutely amazing car. I wish I could have afforded one that one of my buddies was selling, because back when I was in high school, this friend of mine, her dad was actually selling a 300Z, and I was just like, man, I wish I could buy that car. I really, really do. I love how that thing looks. I wasn't even really into cars back then, but I was looking at this thing like, oh my gosh. You know, a nice little rear-wheel drive sports car. That'd be perfect to have as a first car, right? Right? Yeah, no, I shouldn't have bought that car, but you know how badly I wanted it. I wanted that thing so bad. Then coming up in winter, what we'll have is the Cadillac Escalade. We're going to be getting another big boy Cadillac. I mean, it's an Escalade. I'm surprised it wasn't here from the start, because we've seen this in quite a few other Forza games, but they kind of held off on giving it to us. I'm pretty sure it's been in the game file since the start, but, you know, they just kind of waited and waited until finally they decided to give us a Cadillac Eldorado and also the Cadillac Escalade in winter. Then in the autumn, we're not actually going to be getting a car, but you'll have access to Ken Block's helmet. That is pretty cool. I think they call it the Brain Bucket, right? So you'll be able to get access to that as a cosmetic feature for your character. So also what I can only assume is going to be in autumn, because usually with these seasonal championships they give us one exclusive car, but since we already have the seasonal street races and they're giving us 3 exclusive cars in summer, autumn, and winter, I'm only going to assume that this car is also going to be available in autumn. is the 1994 Honda Prelude SI. I actually knew someone with one of these back in high school. You know, back then it wasn't necessarily as important of a car as it is today. You know, the Prelude was always kind of that top of the line Honda model. You know, besides the NSX, of course. Besides the NSX, you know, if you wanted a Honda sports car, you know, you really weren't looking at the Civic SI. You maybe were looking at the Prelude. You know, it was a little bit longer, had a bigger motor, that sort of deal, was a little bit faster. So that was kind of the car that you looked at. I had a couple of friends that I actually knew had Preludes, and I looked into Preludes, but I ended up with my Civic when I went into college. You know, I love that Civic. I really, really do. But, you know, Prelude would have been nice too. I like the Preludes. I really do. So those are all the cars that have been confirmed to be coming to Forza Horizon 4 next month. But one thing was blatantly glaring from the Playground Game Show. They didn't talk anything about Forza Shop Rewards, so we do not know what cars are going to be available via that. But what we do know is that there was another car announced during the Forza Monthly Show that we didn't really see anything about during the Playground Game Show. And this is the Quartz Regalia. The Quartz Regalia is supposedly going to be making a comeback to Forza Horizon 4. You know, it's a Final Fantasy car, it's a complete fantasy car. You know, it's honestly awesome though. We did drift this back in Horizon 3. We're going to drift it again here in Horizon 4. But the other thing that was announced during the Forza Monthly Show was the Quartz Regalia Type D, which is an absolute beastly lifted version of the Quartz Regalia. It's also drivable in Final Fantasy. But we didn't really hear anything about this during the Playground Game Show, and during the Forza Monthly Show they had kind of told us, you know, hey, tune into the Playground Game Show and you'll hear a little bit more about this car, but they completely did not mention it at all. I was like, I went back and I watched it 2 or 3 more times just to try and find any mention of it whatsoever, but we didn't actually hear anything about it. What we do know is that with the Quartz Regalia Type D, supposedly in order to get access to that car, you're going to have to do something special with the regular Quartz Regalia. But since they're different models, I'm not assuming that it's going to be some kind of body kit. You know, that would have been one way to go, but since they're different models, I'm not really sure what we're actually going to be doing. You know, I feel like maybe you're going to have the Quartz Regalia as a Forza Shop reward one week, and then the next week it's going to be you have to use the Quartz Regalia you won the previous week to get the Type D. I don't know. I just don't know how that's necessarily going to work. It's supposed to be something special, but we don't know. So finally, there is one more car that's going to be coming this month. We don't actually know what vehicle this is, and it could be a vehicle that is already in the game. What we do know is it's going to be the reward for a new Horizon storyline that is going to be coming into the game on Thursday. This is called Skill Streak, and it's going to be about getting as much skill score as possible. We don't know what the prize is going to be for this yet, but we have been told that it is going to be pretty unique and pretty awesome. So, but anyway though, that is all of the cars that we know about coming to Forza Horizon 4 this upcoming month. If there's one car in particular that you guys really like, leave a comment down below and let me know what it is and why, because I want to hear what you guys got to say. As well, if you guys want to, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at twitter.com/Griffith113 and Instagram.com/Griffith113. And if you guys like this video, go and make sure to hit that like button down below for us, because you guys already know your support is so greatly appreciated. And make sure to subscribe for more videos coming out all the time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out.